Yes, indeed, it is once again time for another episode of the Kanika Sports Show, everybody. I am your host, Ken Chihoin, and I am joined once again, as always. She's the one. She's the only. Drum roll, please. Nika, everybody. Welcome, Nika.
Hello, everybody. Hello to all the beautiful people checking us out. How is everybody doing?
It's another episode. It's another day. It's Monday. I hope everyone is having a great start to their week. We had a great action-packed weekend of baseball, everybody, and we got started right away on Friday afternoon with some scary situation. Am I right, Nika?
Oh, it was.
I ran out. You were still outside. The sun was still out here on the West Coast, and I said, Fernando got hit by a pitch, and he got taken out of the game.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and you can see here on the screen we've got a tweet from Trisha Whitaker. She is part of the Apple TV broadcast team. The Padres were on Apple TV on Friday night, along with our Cubs. We had double duty. But here we see on the Apple broadcast a picture of what Fernando's left forearm looked like after getting hit by this pitch. And I was scared, Nika. I was really scared after this. I thought this is just typical. The Padres are playing so good, and everybody's clicking and kind of playing together as a team for the most part. And then this is going to happen and, like, derail everything.
Ouch.
And luckily, this was pitched, by the way, by Mitch Keller. And this was just, I really one day want to see some stricter punishments for pitchers who hit batters. Like, I have no problem with the people wanting to pitch inside and command the plate. And I've had passionate arguments with people about this, about whether or not, there are people that will argue that players know the risks that are involved with hitting when they step into the batter's box. And I just don't think, breaking bones based on pitchers throwing inside should be a norm or should be a part of the game that we find acceptable. I feel like you should be able to pitch with control at the highest levels, and that's part of the job at the highest levels. And more chasing of velocity has led to less and less control and command of pitches. And I feel like they need to do something about this at some point, because it's just getting out of control with all of the injuries that you see with hands. We saw Mookie Betts last year miss how much time with a broken finger. So I'm just not a fan of these kinds of injuries, and I think there should be more repercussions for pitchers. Is like, you have to come out of until the guy that you hit is able to play again. If that's 10 weeks, that's 10 weeks. If it's 10 minutes, that's 10 minutes. But I just feel like there's got to be something like that has to give here. And
So you want them to have like a timeout for their whatever they did?
I feel like this is like drunk driving a little bit.
Okay.
Like I know I used that analogy when Arise got hit, but it's the same kind of thing. It's like you can drive and you can pitch however you want, but you have to do it with responsibility, and there are repercussions for your actions, whether they were intentional or not.
That's true.
That's how we judge people on the road. And I just don't understand why we have to have a different standard on the pitcher's mound, everybody.
But I don't think the pitcher goes out there with the intention to hit.
I know. We're talking. There is a driver doesn't go out there with an intention to get into an accident and kill another human being. But they do all the time.
All right.
I just feel like if you're wanting to play in the major league level, you have to be able to pitch with command and control. That should be a part of the job description. And if that means you don't throw 102.7 miles per hour anymore, and you only throw 99, great. You'll be more effective. You'll locate your pitches better, and you'll get more hitters out.
All right.
Well,
good analogy.
This was scary, but we got an update a little bit. We got an update a little while later from the Padres clubhouse and the official Padres X account. And the x-rays were negative on Fernando's arm. He was getting treatment and was going to be evaluated. And then, the Padres went on to win the opener 9-4 against the Pirates. It was Gavin Derry Bonds, as he's known now amongst the Friar faithful.
Okay.
He connected for a home run. That was a pretty sight to see. The Padres DH spot had been in a big slump before this, so that was good to see. He had a 3-hit night, by the way, on Friday. But unfortunately for Gavin Sheets, that was all the time he saw on the field this weekend because the Pirates were throwing southpaws at us the rest of the weekend, and Gavin Sheets is not a part of the left-handed pitcher lineup. He is a part of the right-handed pitcher lineup that when we're facing righties. So, nevertheless, one person that did get back out on the field right away was Fernando. And he did it on Derby Saturday, everybody. And this was just a weird game for the Padres. We just don't hit lefties. We cannot hit left-handed pitching. On Saturday, it was Bailey Falter taking the mound for the Pirates. And he just shut us down all the way until finally in the 7th inning. I'm pretty sure they had a reliever in at this point. It was Manny Machado connecting on his 3rd home run of the season. And then in the 9th inning, Fernando gets a leadoff double, steals third base, uncontested, and then on a pitch that barely bounces away from catcher Joey Bart, he takes off for home. And as you can see in the photo slide, this was my post actually, it was Fernando with the photo finish on Kentucky Derby Saturday, everybody. So I thought that was quite a fitting finish for the game, considering what was happening elsewhere in the sports world.
Quite appropriate for Derby.
Quite appropriate. So, but what a great play by Fernando, just showing once again that he has that MVP gene in him, if you will. And he is playing like a person that is possessed this year when it comes to his stats and everything that he's doing on the field. Seen those strikeouts tick up a little bit more lately, and hopefully he continues to work on that approach because I like the Fernando that doesn't strike out a lot.
He probably likes that too.
I'm sure he does, but hopefully his dad is calling him and telling him how bad he is at hitting when he strikes out so that he stays motivated. All joking aside, the Padres went for the sweep on Sunday, and they got it. It was Elias Diaz who connected for his 3rd home run of the season and his 2nd one that I've seen in the last couple of weeks. It was him going deep. Well, I know he hit one in Detroit, so he's been heating up a little bit lately. And the result of Sunday's game, the Padres get a shutout. 4-0. It was their 8th shutout of the season. 8. That is incredible because they've only played 33 games. As you can see on the graphic, it says 22-11. Now, our friend on X, Sarah Langs, happy birthday again, as everyone in the baseball universe was wishing her a happy birthday this weekend. You can see she posted the most shutouts thrown in the first 33 games of a season. The Padres are now 4th all time. And you can see the list of teams here. Most of them are not from any time soon. The most recent one was 1968-69. We had the Chicago Cubs and the Cleveland Indians, not the Guardians, doing it. And then you can see this goes all the way back to like 1876 with the St. Louis Brown Stockings. So if you were ever wondering how the Browns became a name, they were probably once upon a time the Brown Sox or the Brown Stockings. Much like the Red Stockings became the Red Sox and the Reds in Cincinnati, by the way. And the Chicago White Stockings became the Chicago Cubs, ironically. Don't ask me how this happened. Anyways, quite a productive list here, and I'm seeing Baltimore 1972, so I'm seeing myself misspeak, but what a great start for the Padres with these 8 shutouts. And a couple things to notice. The 1945 Detroit Tigers and the 1914 Red Sox definitely went to the World Series. And I'm not sure about the 1907 Cubs that are listed on here, but I know the 1906 and the 1908 Cubs won the World Series, so I'm guessing the 1907 Cubs were pretty damn good as well.
Wow, that's a pretty long list. Short, but old.
Well, the Padres are off to an amazing start, and in every other division in the league, they would probably be in first place, but this is the NL West, and we have the LA Dodgers, the great baseball experiment with us over here on the West Coast. And Nika, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is having an amazing start to his season. He pitched on Friday night to kick off this series in Atlanta for the Dodgers. He goes 6 innings, only gives up 1 hit, 2 walks, no runs, had 6 strikeouts. And as you can see on the next slide, this was his 7th start of the season. He's now 4-2 on the season. So a couple losses there. I'm curious to go back and look at how he lost those games exactly because his ERA is under 1. It's 0.90. And his whip, his walks and hits per innings pitched, is also under 1, a 0.93. Both of those are astounding. If he keeps this up at all, this is going to be an easy Cy Young Award win for Yamamoto this year in just his 2nd year. And, I mean, the Dodgers need every bit of it right now with the way their injury list is shaping up with pitchers. As we've been talking about. So this is pretty amazing stuff here from the 2nd-year phenom, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I think it's Yamamoto. I keep saying Yamamoto, but,
Yamamoto.
What's the commercial? Go to Motu. I don't remember. Anyways, speaking of Dodgers starting pitchers, on Saturday, after quite a long rain delay, Nika. I don't remember what time this rained. I think this game was originally slated for 4 o'clock our time, 7 o'clock Eastern, but it did not start until 10 o'clock
Eastern.
Here.
Oh, here?
Right?
So,
or was it 7 here?
It was 7 or 8 around here, so it was around 10, 11 Eastern.
Yeah, it was getting going pretty late. It was after 10 for sure. I remember us saying that. And
right, because we were even thinking, is it going to start?
Yeah, that's a really late time to start a game, but Roki Sasaki is glad that they did. He got his first major league win. In the sun, and he's had his ups and downs. We saw he had an emotional reaction when he only pitched a couple innings a few weeks back. He was teary-eyed, we'll say, in the dugout. There was definitely not a stream of tears or anything flowing down his face, but it's okay to get a little bit emotional. I was concerned about him and concerned about his psyche at the time, but I think he's going to be just fine. He seems to be getting better and better, and he's certainly smiling in this picture. We see that young smile in this picture. He's looking good. Probably happy to get this one off of his back, and we'll see if this
holds up.
Well, we'll just see if now he's a little bit more relaxed. He's got that first win under his belt.
And he's what, 23?
23.
He's the young kid on the mound. He should be enjoying the game more than anybody else on that team.
Yeah, except he's under a lot of pressure to perform, And as we're going to hear later from a certain young individual, this game can be hard to love sometimes because of how cruel it can be to you. All right. Well, last night the Dodgers took to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, and they finally lost after playing the Marlins all week, and then the Braves, who are at the bottom of the list. I'm looking at the standings right now, and the Braves are still 4th to last in the NL. And the Marlins right underneath them. So the Dodgers have been getting a steady dose of weak teams, if you want to call it that. And they are heading back to Miami now. After playing the Marlins at home during this past week, they are going to go to Miami and finish their season series with the Marlins. I'm sure they're happy that they don't have to go to South Beach again, though I'm not sure if they have to play the Rays or not at home or away this year. So to be continued, everybody. We got a little bit of news in the form of a couple guys going to the show. Nika, do you want to cue up the going to the show intro for us?
Did you hear what I said? I'm going to the show.
So thought you might like to go to the show.
What you need is a curveball, huh? In the show, everybody can hit a fastball.
Let me go to the show.
Yeah, I was in the show. I was in the show for 21 days once. 21 greatest days of my life.
I've got to let it go.
You don't know shit. All right? You want to make it to the show, you'll listen to me.
And just enjoy the show.
All right.
Hey, there's some good advice in there for all these young call-ups if they ever hear this from all of those collective pop culture icons that we heard during that intro. But back to the matter at hand, the Dodgers are finally calling up, and they have called up Ha-Seong Kim, not to be confused with Ha-Seong Kim, who is on the Tampa Bay Rays now. But Ha-Seong Kim is the Dodgers shortstop who was called up. And what's interesting about him is he was a big free agent acquisition in the offseason. He's actually making $12.5 million over the next 3 years. And when it was announced in March that he was going to be starting the season in AAA, I thought this was the textbook definition of what it means for the Padres, what it means for the Dodgers to have a luxury of being able to have money at their disposal. This is a player who I felt would have made almost every other roster in baseball out of spring training, and yet the Dodgers said, no, you're going to go back to AAA. And I'm just glad that it hasn't taken very long for him to get back to the majors. But I do think I see a little bit of a mistake being made here with him. He hasn't played or started a game yet. And he's been up with the team, as you can see. This was on May 3rd at 9:23 a.m. He's been up with the team since Saturday. So he had 2 games and 2 opportunities to play. And I'm just not a big fan of calling a guy up to sit the bench. Like, keep him in AAA.
Yeah.
He's young. If he's not going to play right away, if you don't put him into the lineup right away, why is he here?
To get the experience of being on a major league, maybe?
I don't know. I just feel like
You don't buy that.
I don't buy it, and I just think if he's not going to play, he needs to be getting regular at bats, and that's going to happen at AAA, not in the major league level if he's not in the roster or if he's not in the lineup. So I'm a little bit confounded by that, Dave Roberts, if you hear me. Let me know what is happening and why you're not playing the guy that you called up from the minors.
Good point.
Okay. We had another call-up over the weekend. It was Kobe Mayo, and you might remember Kobe Mayo because he was a part of our Tell Me How You Really Feel segment a few weeks back when spring training was wrapping up, and it was announced that he was not going to make the opening day team. He had made some comments about how it's a lose-lose situation for him because if he goes back down to the minors and hits well, everyone expects him to do that. He's already done it before. And if he goes back down to the minors and struggles, then everyone's going to be like, oh, he's on the decline. He's on his way. Like he's not going to pan out to what he could have been. And I have to kind of agree with him a little bit. The Orioles have been really mismanaged when it comes to all their young talent. They I feel like at the beginning of last season almost, the Orioles were looked at as having this stockpile of young talent and a team on the rise. And now if you look where they're at this year, they're really struggling. They're 13-20 right now. They're at the bottom of the AL East and almost the bottom of the American League when you look at the full league standings. And so they need all the help they can get. The problem is they have like no starting pitching, and a lot of the young talent that they did trade last year at the deadline and cashed in did not get them back the starting pitching that they need to be successful necessarily. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation here for the Orioles. I wish Kobe Mayo all the luck though in the world, because I feel like he is a bit of a victim here of circumstances with the Orioles and their situation. So hopefully he excels and gives the Orioles some offense at least, because they don't have any pitching.
They need it, and that's a young team. That's a very young team that should be doing a lot better. And they got rid of some pitchers during the offseason.
Well, they did let Corbin Burns
Right.
walk away, and I don't think they had any opportunity of re-signing Corbin Burns because Corbin Burns had his eyes on Arizona the whole time, and he even gave them a discount compared to what other teams offered him. So he had a motivation to want to play in Arizona, and Arizona obliged. They might have remorse about that. Stay tuned. But before we get into that, we need to go to Milwaukee.
Oh?
And it was the Cubs, everybody, doing a little singing north of the border, if you know.
They're singing, go, Cubs, go! Go, Cubs, go!
All right. The Cubs take 2 out of 3 from their division rivals, the Brewers. Their renewed division rivals because of the whole Craig Counsell situation. I even heard Craig Counsell talking this weekend about Bob Uecker, who passed away in the offseason, sadly, and how he still thinks about Ueck every day. I think that just shows how much Craig Counsell was a part of the Brewers organization for so long, and still why his move to the Cubs last offseason was so shocking, Nika.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And we could have told, we saw last season how the teams navigated through that situation.
It's just crazy. It was always going to be the Mets.
Yep.
Most likely the Mets. The Mets are the only team that's going to spend this much on him. Oh, the Cubs.
The Cubs did.
They swooped in and stole him. It was hey, they got the guy they wanted, and Craig Counsell kind of wanted to come to the Cubs, which I think hurt the Brewers fans a little bit and the team.
That sounds very similar to Melvin and the Giants when he was managing the Padres.
It does. It's not quite the same situation, I
No.
feel like, but it is a little bit similar.
It's very close.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Well, the Cubs, they took the first game handedly. You see Pete Crow Armstrong there pictured, and he continues to rake. He hit 3 home runs in Milwaukee this weekend, including 2 in that first game, the 10-0 win. If you look at the next image, we see that the Cubs won the second game 6-2, and it's Pete Crow Armstrong again. He's a little blurry in the image. Apologies, folks. I screen grabbed the wrong moment, but I was going fast and not double, triple checking all that stuff. Anyways, you can see he's doing a little gesture with his hand here, and there's a funny story about that. Apparently, he predicted correctly that he would homer in his second at-bat of the game and was cashing in on his prediction by giving a little money sign there.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, he was,
Okay.
doing the something with pay up or something.
Pay up. Wait, is that inside trading information for betting?
I don't think they were betting money necessarily. Maybe like chores in the clubhouse or
they have
laundry. Who knows? I kid. Maybe someone has to make coffee runs or something.
Okay. I'll buy that.
But it was not all peaches and rainbows for the Cubs north of the border. It ended kind of on a sour note Sunday with Cubs ace, left-handed starting pitcher Shota Imanaga leaving the game. I think this was in the 5th or 6th inning with a left hamstring strain. Nika, can we get a little injury report?
Ready?
Yes, doctor. Doctor, give me the news.
I must confess, you have an astonishingly good idea there, Doctor.
Damn it, man, I'm a doctor, not a torpedo technician.
Dr. Harris,
Yes?
do you concur?
Is there anything you can do, doctor?
Somebody give me a doctor.
All right. Well, somebody needs to call Shota Imanaga a doctor, everybody. He did indeed leave the game yesterday with a left hamstring strain. And if I'm a Cubs fan, this is highly concerning to me. You already have no Justin Steele on this staff. And you lose Imanaga, that's another lefty. So you have no more left-handed starting pitching right now that I can count. Jamison Tylon has been great, but he's not a number 1 pitcher. Imanaga is.
Boyd is another pitcher that's left.
Matthew Boyd is left. Oh, he is left-handed. So they still do have it. The Cubs are stockpiled, I guess, with left-handed pitching. I have to think about that. But and then they have Colin Ray, who is also pitching well, but I don't think they're relying on him to be the number 1 guy in the staff. So the Cubs have to navigate this now and figure out how they're going to get innings. There's a young pitcher in the minors. His name is escaping me right now, and they need to probably look at bringing him up. I think there's some concern that he might not be ready. And so we'll have to wait and see how the Cubs navigate this. We will keep you informed of any changes if anyone's called up, of course, before Friday's show.
Okay.
But rest well and get well soon, Shota Imanaga. But we got some other injuries to get through, Nika.
Oh?
In Arizona, we just mentioned it, Corbin Burns was scratched for his start tonight And this happened yesterday, by the way. So yesterday he was scratched for his start tonight against the Mets. He has shoulder inflammation in his right shoulder. This is probably concerning to the Diamondbacks because they just spent $210 million on Corbin Burnes in the offseason.
Ouch. That's a lot. That's his favorite team that he wanted to play for.
Yeah.
And now he got injured. That's
Well, and he's been having a rough go of it, I would say. Not the usual sharpness we're used to seeing from Corbin Burnes on the mound so far in 2025. So maybe this is just a slight setback and nothing too alarming, and it will help him get himself right. So hopefully it's not something more serious for the Diamondbacks.
okay.
And another right-handed pitcher, formerly in the NL West, now in the AL East, is Walker Buehler, who got placed on the IL with shoulder inflammation, 15-day IL. So Boston had one of their starters go down.
And let's not forget, he came from the Dodgers.
Yes, the Dodgers, who produce a lot of pitching injuries, it seems, and don't get scrutinized as much for it because they always have enough to kind of fill in, although they are on thin ice right now.
Yeah.
But Walker Buehler is not a Dodger anymore. He just might be damaged goods from his Dodger days, unfortunately.
Hopefully.
But this doesn't seem like a serious thing. It depends with the shoulder. It can affect velocity, and not in a good way, So we'll have to wait and see how this pans out for the Red Sox. But they got bigger things to worry about because there was an ugly scene on Friday night at first base with their first baseman, Tristan Casas. And he was unfortunately had to get carted off the field after suffering a knee injury. Alex Cora told reporters during the game that it was a significant knee injury and that he was still at the hospital. We got more news actually the following morning, and that was that Tristan Casas had a ruptured left patellar tendon. This came from Bob Nightingale, and it was revealed that he will miss the rest of the 2025 season. So just a massive injury for the Red Sox here, Nika.
Ouch. That's sad.
Yeah, really sad. It was tough to watch. I saw this happen, and I refused to watch the replay after I saw it because you could literally see his left leg kind of go limp right in the middle of falling down to the ground. It's like dangling there. Really brutal to watch. And my heart goes out to Tristan Casas, and hopefully he has a quick and healthy recovery and comes back strong from this because it's probably not going to be easy to come back from.
Well, it's a whole season.
It's a whole season, but it's also like learning to trust your leg again and like
learning how to walk.
Potentially.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, an update for you. We told you on Friday that Jazz Chisholm had an oblique injury. What I didn't see coming at the time was that he now appears to be headed out for 4 to 6 weeks with this. So it does appear to be a pretty severe oblique strain. That's a big loss for the Yankees, who will host the Padres starting tonight, everybody. So we will see Yankee Stadium for the first time in a couple of years with the brown and gold, Nika.
Nice.
Yeah, it would be fun. All right. Well, a Dodger is headed to the injured list as well. Tommy Edman, who has been having a really good start to his 2025 season, is headed to the IL with right ankle inflammation. I don't know if this is the 10-day or the 15-day IL. So we'll have to wait and see how long he's going to be out for the Dodgers, who, he plays an important role on the Dodgers team as far as like playing center field and being able to also play second base and even some shortstop potentially. Their lineup and their extras and their bench gets really small without Tommy Edman in the lineup. So big loss for them. And without further ado, it's time for a welcome back, Nika.
Ooh.
We've got someone welcome back.
Back again.
He's back.
Welcome back to the fight.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Welcome back to the land of moving parts.
Oh, boys! I'm back!
All right. Thanks, Randy Quaid, and everyone else who joined us for that welcome back. It is indeed a welcome back for the Seattle Mariners. And Nika, look at this slide. Do you notice something odd about this?
On fire.
We don't know who it is.
I know. It's
Good
on
job,
fire.
social media team. What the heck? You cut his head off, you cut his eyes off, and you got him in the silhouette.
Who is that?
Who is it? Well, flip to the next slide for me, please. It's Matt Brash, everybody. Not former. He is still a relief pitcher for the Mariners, but we haven't seen him on a hill since 2023. He had some Tommy John. But he's got some good stuff, and he is a huge strength to the Mariners bullpen. He will be the setup guy for Andres Munoz. And so big stuff going on here for Seattle's bullpen. A huge welcome back.
Nice.
Welcome back, Matt Brash. And a little birdie told me that someone might be returning to the Padres lineup in center field tonight. But I haven't heard the official word yet, so I'm holding off on posting it, at least in our show.
You don't want to jinx it.
I don't want to jinx it.
Madness!
Thanks, Nika.
You didn't say it.
I didn't. I hope we get some in the Bronx, everybody.
All right.
But we are going to continue to talk about the Mariners here because the Mariners are doing things that I didn't think was possible, Nika. They are scoring runs and winning games. The scoring runs part was the thing that was their Achilles heel last year. If you followed this podcast at all, we talked quite at length about how the Mariners were one of the worst scoring teams in all of baseball, despite having one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. And it all ended poorly for Scott Service, who was fired as manager in August, I believe, and was replaced by former catcher for the Mariners, Dan Wilson. And more importantly, I think for this Mariners team, instituted Edgar Martinez, Hall of Fame DH hitter for the Mariners, as their new hitting coach. And that seems to be paying off dividends because the Mariners, despite maybe a little bit of a slow start during that first week of the season, have certainly made up for it. And as you can see here in the first graphic we got posted, the last time the Mariners lost the series was April 5th. And the Mariners decided to have some fun with this. They posted of all the things that have happened culturally since they last lost the series. You want to hear some of them, Nika?
Sure.
We've got, the Florida Gators had only 2 men's basketball national championships. They now have a third.
Okay.
We didn't yet know who died in season 3 of White Lotus. I don't watch, so I still don't know who died in season 3. I don't know who died in season 2 or 1, but apparently everyone else who watches that show now knows who died in season 3 before the Mariners lost. Or the last time the Mariners lost, they didn't know who died. Katy Perry had never been to space.
Okay.
Rory McIlroy had not completed the career Grand Slam. He, of course, won the Masters in April. Cody Rhodes was still WWE champion, everybody, at WrestleMania. Oh. He lost the belt to John Cena. I don't know. What is it? Cena? See ya. And no one had asked Bill Belichick where he met Jordan Hudson.
Which is his girlfriend.
His 24-year-old girlfriend. And he's 72, so exactly 3 times her age, everybody.
So he could be a grandpa.
He could be.
Wow. All right. Moving up in the world.
Someone's got grandpa issues, everybody. She just took it a whole nother level.
She did.
All right. Well, as you can see in the next slide, the Mariners are ranking since April 9th first in a lot of key categories across Major League Baseball, including record 15-4. That's a 789 win percentage. They've scored 128 runs. That's first. That's a big improvement for a team that was struggling to score runs last year. They've hit 35 home runs, which is also first, and that's a big improvement. A 275 average, really happy to see that as a team. 367 on base percentage and an 850 OPS as a team. 850. Impressive, Mariners. Keep it up. Edgar Martinez, whatever you're doing, I think it's working.
I think so.
Well, the Mariners did take 2 out of 3 over the Rangers because they haven't lost a series since April 5th, as you know. But they did lose that final game on Sunday. Nevertheless, Texas decided that after they faced the best pitching staff in all of baseball, that it was time to let go of their hitting coach. I mean, the timing is impeccable here. Donnie Ecker gets fired on a Sunday, and this is, I guess I'm just questioning the timing of it because of the fact that you were just facing one of the best pitching staffs in all of Major League Baseball.
Well, if you cannot perform at the best level, maybe it's time to go.
I guess.
But Rangers haven't been that sharp this year either.
They have not. And as you can see, they are 17 and 18. They are a game below 500. They have a negative 18 run differential, so they've given up 18 more runs than they've scored currently. And that's never a good sign for a team to be in the negatives this early. It is early. And you never want to get off, despite being 500, it tells me that they have some holes in their team that need fixing when you have a negative 18 run differential, despite being just one game under. By comparison, the White Sox, who are in dead last, have a negative 24 run differential. So you're not doing too much better than the actual bottom of the barrel. Okay, well, we are going to keep it moving here on the Kanika Sports Show because it's a busy Monday, and I wanted to quickly highlight a little moment that I saw over the weekend that made me smile. Cody Clemens, the son of Roger Clemens, the pitcher for the Red Sox and Yankees, not a Hall of Famer. His son was playing his first ever game at Fenway Park, which, of course, his dad was actually in attendance. Cody Clemens homered in his first game at Fenway Park because, of course, he did. That's just baseball for you. And you can see in these couple slides that I pulled here that Dad was there in the he was in the press box or one of the what do they call those? The
sky boxes?
Thank you, Nika. One of the sky boxes, and he was celebrating on hand his son's achievement. I thought this was a fun little baseball moment, and I wanted to call attention to it.
Yeah. And his father played baseball.
Yeah, for the Red Sox.
So
for many, many years.
Nice.
Had a 20 strikeout game, and that is still a record to this day. Wow. Tied with Kerry Wood and I believe Felix Hernandez, though I'm not sure about the last one.
Okay.
All right. Well, Nika, it's time for some awards. Are you ready?
Ooh,
Are
maybe?
you set?
It's me, Ricky Martin. Come on! Hot, hot, hot! Or cold? Yo! Hot, hot, hot! Or cold?
Nice.
All right. Well, it is nice, and it's new and improved, the awards show this Monday. And it's only going to get better from here on out, folks, because, we've made some complimentary graphics for our hot and cold list this week. But before we get into those graphics, we got to hear the hot intro.
I'll tell you one fucking thing.
He's heating up.
I hope we get fucking hotter than shit.
He's on fire.
I said it's getting hot in here. So hot.
So hot right now. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Excuse me, pardon me, coming through hot stuff.
All
right. Well, we got the hot stuff right here on the Kanika Sports Show, everybody. And it is time to reveal this week's number one hot hitter. Are you ready, Nika?
Sure. Ooh.
And it is Aaron Judge. Big surprise. He is the talk of the baseball world right now if you have a pulse, because he is on fire, everybody, to start the 2025 season. And he had a hell of a week. 12 for 24 at the plate, as you can see. 2 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in, 7 runs scored, and 3 walks. That was good enough for a 500 average, a 556 on base, a 1.042 slugging percentage, and a 1.598 OPS. Your OPS leader this week was Aaron Judge.
Okay.
But coming up behind him, everybody, was the first baseman for your Los Angeles Dodgers, Freddie Freeman, who is recently back from the injured list after re-injuring that ankle in the shower this year. And Dodger fans are glad to see it. He torched Atlanta, and the Marlins as well. He went 10 for 21 this week with 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in, 6 runs scored, and 5 walks. That's good enough for a .476 average, a .577 on base, an .857 slug, and a 1.434 OPS for Freddie Freeman.
Nice.
And in third, it was Superman, everybody. Yes, that's right. Riley Green, the outfielder for the Tigers. He was 13 for 28 this week with 4 home runs, including some history that we're going to talk about later. He had 8 runs batted in, 7 runs scored, and a walk. That is good enough for a .464 average, a .500 on base percentage, a .893 slug, and a 1.393 OPS for Riley Green, everybody. But I'm starting to feel a little bit of a chill in the air, Nika. Ooh. It's getting cold.
It's cold in here.
How feel you? I feel cold.
You're as cold as ice.
Let's kick some ice.
Ice, ice, baby. Ice, baby.
Wow, nice throwbacks in there.
All right. Well, without further ado, we got the number 1 cold hitter of the week up. And are we ready, Nika? It is Dodger Michael Conforto, who was 0 for 21 this past week and drawing much ire from Dodger fans on social media channels across the board. He did contribute 1 RBI, scored 3 runs, and had 4 walks, a stolen base, but he did strike out 10 times. That's a 0 batting average, a 160 on base percentage, a 0 slugging percentage, and a 160 OPS.
Okay.
Pretty minuscule for Michael Conforto, but coming up on the rear was Agustin Ramirez from the Miami Marlins. He was 1 for 24 this week, so he did get 1 base hit, unlike Michael Conforto, but he had a double, a run scored, and 5 strikeouts. That is a 0.42 average, a 0.42 on base, a 0.83 slug, must have been a double, and a 125 OPS. So pretty small for Agustin Ramirez. But also, it was Milwaukee Brewer outfielder Christian Yelich bringing up the rear here at number 3. 1 for 20 this week with a run scored, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Just a 0.50 batting average, a 136 on base, a 0.50 slug, and a 186 OPS. Pretty weak stuff all across the board on the cold list this week, Nika.
I see.
Indeed. So, hey, gentlemen, get a jacket and get warm and try and heat up a little bit before the games begin tonight.
Good advice.
Well, thank you. And without further ado, we have to crown a king.
Ooh.
I am king, king, king.
It's good to be king. Don't you know you're right when you're king?
Hail to the king, baby.
All right. Well, it is time to hail to the king, and we have a new home run king this week, Nika, and it is... Ready?
Yeah.
Kyle Stowers, everybody.
Ooh.
From the Miami Marlins.
Oh.
And he hit 4 home runs. Now, I must tell you all that there was a 4-way tie this week for the home run total. So we had to go to the tiebreaker and do it by distance, total distance. When you added all of the home runs together, Kyle Stowers was the winner, everybody. He edged out Pete Crow Armstrong of the Cubs, Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies, and Riley Green from the aforementioned Tigers. Congratulations to Kyle Stowers. What week is this? I guess this is week 6 of the season, but it doesn't matter. He's the home run king this week, and that's all that matters.
That's true. Wow, nice graphics.
Congratulations, Kyle, and thank you, Nika.
You're welcome.
All right, well, it's time to meep around the base paths, everybody.
Meep, meep. Meep, meep.
That's right. It's time for the Roadrunner Award, and this week we send out the fast wheels to Luis Robert Jr., everybody, of the Chicago White Sox.
Wow.
5 stolen bases this past week. He led all major leaguers by 1. But that's all right. That's all it takes is 1. And he edges him out. He gets the Roadrunner Award this week. A lot of talk about Luis Robert Jr. and where he's going to end up before this season is over, because a lot of people think he's not going to stay on the south side of Chicago.
Well, he's wasting away over there at the moment.
He is, but I think sometimes he needs a better attitude about the game too.
That's true as well.
So hopefully stealing a lot of bases is a sign that he is, engaged fully in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be awards week if we didn't have a big whiffer to crown.
Hey, bada, swing, bada. Hey, bada, swing, bada. Kennedy, swing, bada.
All right. Thank you, Ferris and Cameron. Thank you for that. We had a big whiffer, and it was Kyron Paris, everybody, of the Anaheim Angels in Los Angeles. Again, I must announce that there was a 4-way tie for this, and I based this tiebreaker, because I've never had this for the big whiffer before. I based the tiebreaker on the amount of at-bats. So whoever had the most strikeouts in the fewest at-bats, and that was Kyron Paris this week, everybody. So sorry to you. Your 12 strikeouts were just a little bit worse than the other people's 12 strikeouts. So let's try to bring that average up this week. It was only 20 at-bats, by the way. So only 8 bats did not end in a strikeout. That's way less. That's 40% of your at-bats. That means 60% were strikeouts this week. Let's work on that.
That's a lot.
Let's put the bat on the ball, everybody.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game of baseball. And
all
with
right.
that will end all of the awards week, Nika. But
you want to go to stop the presses?
No.
No?
Well, not yet. We just spoke about Aaron Judge, and we need to talk about Aaron Judge for a second, because he's doing amazing things on the baseball field. Nika, can you pull up the slide there?
Sure.
This is, again, Sarah Langs posting about Aaron Judge's season so far. And through 33 games, the Yankees slugger has more than 10 home runs and is batting over .430.
Wow.
It's just crazy. He's made it through May. No injuries, nothing. Hasn't missed any games. He's made it through May with a .430 batting average. That's the highest I think I've seen through May in a long time. Luis Ariz was batting over .400 in 2023, but it didn't happen. He didn't bat .400 for the year. Aaron Judge might, and I'm seriously wondering if he's going to. I think it's crazy that he's doing this without Juan Soto, by the way. He lost his protection.
Maybe Juan Soto needed more protection than Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. I think maybe Juan Soto's refusal to, I guess, call or talk to Aaron Judge in the offseason might have lit a fire under Aaron Judge's ass like we've never seen before in baseball. Because, I mean, to be doing what he's doing, we haven't seen anything like this, as you can see, since like 1959, 1932. And you're talking about Hank Aaron and Jimmy Fox, legends of the game. I did a little homework myself. And, if Judge were to have a season like this, it would put him in the ranks of Ted Williams and Babe Ruth. Like, that's it. So I'm rooting for him, honestly. I love to see records be broken. That's why they're made in the first place. Yeah. But it's going to be a tough journey, too, because the Yankees are going to face the Padres and their pitching staff tonight, and they're not easy to hit off of. So he's got 3 tough games, I know, ahead of him this week.
Okay.
But all this talk about Aaron Judge, I had my ears open this week, and I caught some bad BS from the media. Nika, can you stop the presses for me?
Stop the press? Listen, I'm sorry about what I said. I was being an idiot.
Excellent example of infield journalistic investigative technique.
Therefore, your heinous comment will be stricken from the record.
I just happened to notice that our presses aren't running, which strikes me as rather odd, since we are, after all, a newspaper.
We're not a newspaper, but
Well, not anymore because it's 2025 and newspapers are dying. And so we're a video news-oriented sports talk show, everybody.
all right.
I found this clip. It is from Fox Sports, and it aired over the weekend because Fox has baseball week or baseball night in America on Saturdays, and they get some nationally televised games. And I happened to catch this was posted from Kevin Burkhardt and Dontrell Willis, the D Train, everybody, doing some post-game show analysis, if you will, and they happen to make this comparison with Aaron Judge. Nico, let's take a listen.
Players with better OPS than a 162-game season, in a span, I should say. Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, Ted Williams. He is, the greatest hitter of this generation. And I guess from you, is he the most feared? Is he the best since Barry Bonds? That's kind of the territory where he's in right now.
I mean, right now, he's hitting 430. That's high schoolist numbers right now.
430?
High schoolers numbers? Is that
Well,
what
I think the comment is fair because, if you're a really good player, like maybe Jackson Merrill a couple years ago in high school when he was getting scouted big time, you might be putting up these kinds of numbers in high school to get noticed. But these are definitely video game numbers here for Aaron Judge. But my big issue with this right out of the gate is the comparison to Barry Bonds, because I don't think we should be using Barry Bonds in comparisons like this. He's like automatically disqualified, isn't he? Everyone knows what he did, and he's paying the ultimate price for it by not being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I just think we shouldn't be comparing Aaron Judge, a guy who's obviously clean, to a guy who obviously wasn't. That doesn't sound right to me. Now, you heard him mention a couple other names, Babe Ruth, Ted Williams. Those are the guys we should be talking about because what Aaron Judge is doing is super special when you look at the fact that no one's done it since like the 1940s, 1950s. Nika, can you continue the clip? Sure. Thanks.
To be able to get his foot down like that consistently as the focal point, everyone circles him. He cannot beat us, and he's beating everyone. Leading baseball in average, slug, RBIs, you name it. I tell you what, he's fun to watch, especially when he's locked in. He's allowed the baseball to travel deep, KB, and he shows power to right center. That's how I know that he's locked in. He did it last time in the World Series, and since then, he's finally healthy, and he's getting his foot down. And listen, I don't see him slowing down. I'm just surprised that teams are still attacking him.
So a couple things I want to say here to Dontrell Willis. Like, number one, I know you're a pitcher, but name me one hitter who shouldn't be using the whole field and driving the ball to the opposite field and using all fields. I mean, this is something that I grew up as learning as a part of the game of baseball is like you should hit the ball to all fields, and that's when you are playing the game correctly. I find it almost annoying how many professional analysts on television talk about like, oh, I know he's going right when he's using the whole field and when he's hitting power to the you should always be striving to use the whole field and hit the ball where the ball is pitched. No one wants to give you a fat, juicy one over the middle. It's like you're not trying to do that. So I just don't buy this argument. Now, the other thing he started to say there at the end a little bit was that, oh shit.
You want to?
Yeah, maybe play it again one more time for me at the end, just the last few minutes.
Shows power to right center. That's how I know that he's locked in. He did it last time in the World Series, and since then, he's finally healthy.
Go ahead.
Oh.
And he's getting his foot down. And listen, I don't see him slowing down. I'm just surprised that teams are still attacking him.
So I left that soundbite in there at the end because I wanted to point out that, yes, right now, the way the Yankees lineup is there's not a lot of fear to pitch to Aaron Judge because, they're not getting on base a lot in front of him. Mm-hmm. He's not being forced to hit with tons of runners on base. It's not always the case, of course, but it's often the case. And that's why he's still getting pitched to right now and not getting the quote unquote Barry Bonds treatment, if you will. I guarantee you, if he comes up with a runner on second tonight or anytime this week against the Padres, he might get a free pass to first base. we'll see. Anyways, we'll also have to wait and see if Aaron Judge does indeed induce that Barry Bonds treatment from any other teams around the major leagues as the season goes on. And if he's able to keep this going, is he going to be able to hit 400 through the end of May? That's kind of where my eyes are at. I could care less about the homers. I know people want to see the homers. I want to see him hit 400.
It's a tall order.
Oh, definitely. It hasn't been done since 1941.
All right.
Well, Nika, without further ado, we got some milestones to hand out.
Get ready for greatness.
By far, my greatest achievement.
We stand here amidst my achievement.
That record's going to hold for a while, let me tell you.
You idiot! Idiot!
Just don't touch my records. Ever.
All right. Thanks, Andrew McCarthy. We won't touch your records, I promise. But some people are going to touch some records. And we're going to start with our boy in San Diego, El Nino. Nika, we mentioned that he hit a double, stole third base, and scored on a wild pitch on Saturday night to kind of single-handedly will the Padres to victory. But that stolen base of third was quite special. That was the 100th stolen base of Fernando's career. Pretty darn special. And as you can see in the next slide,
he's holding it.
They gave him the base. And I also wanted to mention, this says 100-100 club. Fernando is the 7th fastest player to hit 100 home runs and 100 stolen bases in their career. So he joins a pretty unique list. I don't have it in front of me, but 7th fastest player to hit 100-100, everybody.
Impressive.
Congratulations, Fernando. Now go get some hits and stop striking out so much.
All right.
All right. Well, we're going to kick it over to Cleveland. And Jose Ramirez did something really special. He became the first player in Cleveland Guardians/Indians history and the 24th player only in Major League history to have 250 home runs and 250 stolen bases in a career. And, you know, Ramirez scared me on Friday night as well. He went down like Casas did. Luckily, he was back in the lineup yesterday. He did not tear any patellar tendons in his knee. But Ramirez, the one thing about him is his speed does go unnoticed because
nobody looks at him as a
kind of
speedy
short
guy.
and stocky, right? And yet 250 stolen bases is nothing to joke about. That's a hell of a career, and he's not done yet.
No, he's just getting started.
He's at least going to be a 300 player. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, we're witnessing a really, truly special career here. And the only thing that could make this even sweeter is if he was able to lift the monkey off of Cleveland's back and get him a World Series ring. Am I wrong?
Well, you need a team.
And the Guardians are getting a team. I believe it. I think, you know, they're third right now in the American League, and Detroit is in their division.
And they are pretty good.
They're damn good. They're ahead of them, but I mean, it's a good race there in the AL Central.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations again, and hey, let's go back to that Friday night game in Milwaukee that the Cubs trounced the Padres. Go Cubs, go! That's right. It was Michael Busch, the first baseman, with his first career grand slam during that game. And you can see here after the game, he was able to retrieve that ball. So no fan got to bring that souvenir home. It was Michael Busch's alone, and that's really cool. I'm happy for him that he was able to get the ball.
But did somebody catch it, or he?
No, I think it landed in the bullpen. And so, like, one of the players got it and was able to get it back to him, no problem. So, yeah, lucky that souvenir landed in the bullpen maybe. But cool, and what a nice smile you have, Michael Busch.
He's happy.
Definitely. Who wouldn't be happy after a grand slam and a 10-0 victory? Go Cubs, go. All right, well, this next one, this is where things start to get interesting, folks.
Okay.
On Friday night, we had Riley Green of the Detroit Tigers, Superman himself. We've talked about him already a couple times because he was on the hot list this week. He did something that no one has ever done in Major League Baseball history, which I found really hard to believe, but it's true. He hit 2 home runs in the same inning. And it wasn't just any other inning, folks. It was the 9th inning. And until last Friday, no major leaguer had ever hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning before. And now Riley Green has done it.
So this was first ever.
First ever.
Wow.
I've seen 2 home runs hit in innings before. We saw Fernando Tatis Sr. hit 2 grand slams in one inning. I remember growing up as a kid, Carlos Baerga hitting a home run from the right side of the plate and a home run from the left side of the plate in the same inning. A switch hitting home run in the same inning, but never has it been done twice in the 9th inning until now. So congratulations to Riley Green. That's a really cool achievement to have to yourself, too.
Nice.
All right.
I don't think it will get broken anytime soon.
It won't. And the next one probably won't get broken anytime soon either, Nika, because this one is just amazing. We had, if you look at this, is this a slide up? Yeah. So I'm gonna go to the names secondly. As you can see, Kyle Stowers is on here from the Marlins. He was the home run king this week, and Daniel Schneemann from Cleveland is on this list. Now, this is the first day in at least the expansion era, so since 1961, where multiple players had multiple home run games, and each one of those players hit a go-ahead grand slam in the 9th inning. So they hit 2 home runs in the same game, and each one of those home runs, or one of those 2 home runs for each of these gentlemen, came in the 9th inning or later and was a grand slam, and came when their team was behind and ended with their team ahead.
That's an odd statistics, but it's cool.
Odd, but it's so cool. And the fact that 2 guys did it on the same day alone is, I mean, I've never heard of this happening in one game, period. But the fact that it happened twice. So it was the home run king getting it done in South Beach in Miami at home. And that came off of Mason Miller, everybody.
Oh.
We saw Jackson Miller homer off of him last year in the 9th inning at Petco Park. And so that's always exciting. This time it happens in Miami. Not quite as big of a crowd, but they still enjoyed it, let me tell you. And as you can see from the tweet, it said 101.7 miles an hour coming in, 107.2 off the bat. And we used to have this saying when I was a kid, not to get intimidated by the pitchers who threw harder, because the harder they throw, the farther it goes.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
It was. You didn't have to swing that hard to make it go, go, go. So congratulations to them, and congratulations to Daniel Schneemann as well. I'm going to enjoy saying that name over the course of this show for those crazy home run statistics. I don't know how else to put it. But let's move on, because we got even more crazy statistics from yesterday to get to. Because yesterday, Jake Myers did something that only 4 other players in Major League history have done, and that is he went 4 for 4 at the plate, and those 4 hits were 2 home runs, a triple, and a double. So no singles, a double, a triple, and 2 homers, 4 for 4. That's only been done by now Jake Myers, previously by Ryan Howard in 2010. And then it goes way back, everybody. Chet Lobbs in 1941, Johnny Mize in 1939, and Jimmy Fox, the great Hall of Famer, in 1933.
Impressive.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
I did not have that on my bingo card for yesterday, and if you did, then more power to you. All right, Nika. Well, we are almost out of time for this episode, but before we get out of here, it's time to hear some real thoughts from some real people. Can you cue up the music, please?
We don't have music for this. Tell me how you really feel. You can be your own music box.
Well, I'm going to have to play jukebox over here, everybody. It's time for Tell Me How You Really Feel, everybody, on the Kanika Sports Show, because I forgot to load the music in for my lovely co-host and my wife. Great job, Kenny.
That's all right. Hey.
It is time for some people around Major League Baseball to tell us how they really feel. And we are going to go back to Milwaukee one more time on this episode to hear from the youngster, Pete Crow Armstrong, PCA. Here he is talking with the media after Saturday night's game and after his third home run of the series on Saturday in the first 2 games. Let's hear from him.
I mean, I love playing baseball. It's harder to love it sometimes when it's a struggle like last year. But, we just talked about it. I've been talking about it a lot. Like, this is some of the most fun I've had playing baseball, and that is definitely, a big reason for that is who I'm around every day. We're together all day, every day, and it's such a good group of guys, and I just enjoy my time here, and that translates to how we all, mesh together on the baseball.
Well, he got cut off there by his own page, I guess, because Marquee Sports posted this. I could not help but put this on here because this had all the feels, everybody. Baseball is really hard, and it can eat you up inside when you get going on the wrong side of things. And I think, when you are a prospect like Pete Crow Armstrong and you have all this potential to be amazing and great, you have speed, defense, you can hit the ball for power, and it's really been fun to see him kind of start to put it together this season, way more than we've seen in previous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it all kind of started back in that LA Dodgers series at LA when his family was there, and his, they mentioned after the game, I have tons of friends here that I grew up with, and it's like he wanted to play good in front of them or something, and it got him going.
Yeah.
It got him going big time, and he's been a huge asset for the Cubs ever since then. And, I want to bring this back to what he said at the end of this soundbite, because my dad, he's been talking to me about how much fun the Cubs look like they're having on the baseball field together as a team this year. And I think Pete just confirmed it for him, like it's a great group of guys and they really enjoy being around each other. I don't think they're faking it. I could say this same thing about the Padres too. We saw Manny and Luis Arraez have like an emotional hug after the game this weekend together. I think it was Saturday night. So I love watching these teams become teams, and the Cubs are becoming a team this year more so than they were last year. And I think that bodes well that they won't fold like they did last May after having such a great April. And they're going to weather a way around these injuries.
Hopefully.
And they're going to figure it out. They're in it to win it with Kyle Tucker this year, whether or not the pitching is going to stay stable or not. They'll find arms to throw out there because the Cubs can mash. You don't need to have necessarily the 5 best starters in the league like Seattle in order to win if you're this Cubs team. We warned about being a mashing team on Friday's show, but you can see the Cubs can mash. Sorry, everybody. All right. Well, we had one other incident to get to on the field this week that was a tell me how you really feel moment. And it was a moment. It wasn't a long interview after a game. It happened in the middle of a game, and it happened on a hot mic. It was umpire Bill Miller who had to review a call. And we're going to see first the call that he made in real time, and then we're going to see the replay from the Boston Red Sox TV broadcast. And let's take a listen. Let's take a look and a listen.
All right.
The throw, he dives, he's safe. See that tag right there.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Minnesota retains.
All right, let's listen carefully.
So it is 6-1 as the call is overturned at the end of 8. Red Sox ahead 6-1.
Fucking saw that too. God.
Ooh. Here's the throw.
My bad.
Little F spot. Little F bomb right there from umpire Bill Miller. Look, I think my interpretation of what I saw on social media and the reaction to this was like a lot of applause for Bill Miller. Like, oh, thank you for being an umpire and admitting you got it wrong.
Yeah.
And I think this happens a lot more than we think, and these guys are human, and it's so hard to make that call in real time. That's why I wanted to keep that at the front end of the clip, because it is so fast.
It's
and
another photo finish.
Bang, bang, you know, and I wonder how many of these calls have been called incorrectly throughout history, you know, without the advantage of replay. I know replay gets a bad rap sometimes, and people don't want it to take over the game, but I really do think it's important to get these calls as right as possible. So, anyway, sorry, Jarren Duran. You are out at home plate. Run does not score. And, yeah, good job, Bill Miller.
Mm-hmm. We always give shit to the umpires for not calling it right or making mistakes.
We do.
But,
so
you know, they do
own
their
give
mistakes.
You got to give them their due when they admit they're wrong. In this instance, also, Bill Miller, you might want to remember to turn off your microphone so you don't broadcast your inner thoughts to the entire stadium and the broadcasting audience around the world.
All right.
Well, we got one last thing to get to. Nika, can you cue up some Bugs Bunny?
Extreme, read all about it.
All right.
Well, I found this when I was searching through the interwebs on Friday, and it surfaced after we recorded our episode, and I laughed, and then I was like, I know this is going to be in the next episode. We broke it to you guys a few weeks back that former designated hitter Joey Gallo was attempting to mount a comeback as a pitcher. And now video has surfaced of him attempting to do just that. What do you think of Joey Gallo on a mound, everybody? I hear some pop.
Oh, yeah.
Missed the point.
Oh.
Yes. That's disgusting.
Well, the pitching coach seemed to like it. He said that last pitch was disgusting, I believe.
Oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's considered a good thing in the pitching world. Like,
okay. I was going to take it the wrong other way.
Like filthy, like you're nasty.
Oh, I
like,
see.
Oh, that's some nasty breaking ball you got there.
Well, how is Joey Gallo's arm? I mean, he played on the outfield.
He did. I mean, I guess who knows? I don't think this is something every player can do. But I got to be honest, I'm rooting for Joey Gallo. Why not?
Well, yeah, I would like him to be a good pitcher or a relief pitcher at least.
If Joey Gallo is doing this, he's got me considering doing it, everybody. Like, do you see what pitchers are getting paid nowadays? It's ridiculous. And for what? For what production that they're giving? Like, we were looking at Roger Clemens' stats before the show started because of the Cody Clemens story, and just looking at the amount of innings and strikeouts and everything else that he had in his career and the innings per season and stuff, it's a different world today. That's all I'm going to say. And I know that he was aided and abetted by certain substances, but not in 1986 that we know of. And he was still pumping out numbers back then. And oh, by the way, Roger Clemens never had a Tommy John surgery in his career, and neither did Nolan Ryan, two of the hardest throwers in all of baseball. This tells me that it has nothing to do with velocity and everything to do with mechanics. So, Joey Gallo, take care of your arm, and good luck to you on the mound, everybody. I hope we see you in a big league stadium pitching soon, because Major League Baseball needs all the pitching help it can get.
Do you think that was his analogy? Like, well, if I can't hit, I might as well try to pitch?
I mean, if you, like I said, it's not crazy to think about just in terms of the financial rewards.
Right.
Like, he can make more per season as a pitcher than he could as a DH potentially.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And if you can transition, that's a great way to go about it. I'm looking at Tatis.
He also has an opportunity that other players don't have because he has resources. He has major league money from his playing career. So he can just dedicate himself and work on this now if he wants to all day, every day.
That's true. What do you think of Fernando? He's got a great arm. If he ever wanted to be a pitcher.
I don't think he could do it with those bouncing dreads on his head. It'd be a little bit, it might get in his eye, right? You want to be able to see the ball, especially if it gets hit back at you.
All
Just
right.
ask Garrett Crochet, who took one off the schnoz this weekend, everybody, and stayed in the game. Impressive. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Kanika Sports Show. But I thank you for joining us on this lovely Monday, afternoon by the time it hits your ears and eyes, everybody. Nika, do you have anything to add?
No, I think we did a great job.
Oh, well, thank you. Before I sign off officially, I just want to please ask that if you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe. Please look for us on your podcasting platform of choice, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Odyssey. We are going to be posting these videos on YouTube, Rumble, probably some clips on X and Facebook. So if you see us out there, drop us a like, drop us a comment. We will be happy to respond to each of you. Thanks again, and adios, everybody. We'll see you Friday.
Have a great week.
You got some music there bumping?
No.
Oh, I gave you some music.
Yeah, but it's not faded to black.
Did you stop recording?